Sheriff, thanks for being here. So you come from a state that obviously works with ICE and Border Patrol officials. Can you walk us through what these operations have been like across the country and give our viewers a sense of how this is kind of carried out, if you will?
Hey, good morning, David, and thank you for having me back
Good
on.
morning.
And when we look at the current operations that are going on, and this is ICE ERO, their enforcement removal operation, fugitive operation. This is what they do. They go out in our communities and look for those criminal aliens or those aliens that have overstayed their visas or have been ordered deported. Right now, what they're apprehending, it is being touted in the media as successful, which it is. Um, However, they're targeted operations, David. That's what we have to understand. They're not just going out there grabbing anybody they can, because if they were, apprehensions would be much higher. But they're working with the whole of government approach: FBI, DEA, Secret Service, Border Patrol, and then of course here in Texas, as you mentioned, even we have state police assisting them. But they're targeting individuals, those, as I mentioned, that are either criminals or who have been ordered deported, and getting them off the street.
Yeah, and you're right there on the border there with Mexico. What does it look like there in your county specifically? And when you say sharing information, like how does that work exactly? Like who goes to who? Do they come to you? Do you go to them? Or what's that flow of exchange and information like?
Well, first of all, David, I spent 26 years in the Border Patrol, and even before I became a Border Patrol agent, I tell you, here in the state of Texas, I had a grandfather that was sheriff. Partnerships have always existed, and we're really seeing those maximized now, whether it's through grant funding and just doing what's right. So, having been the patrol agent in charge of the station here, we worked with our local law enforcement, our local sheriffs, our state agencies, but we continue to work together, as specifically out here in these rural areas where we're really dependent on each other, because at times Border Patrol may be the first responders to an accident on the highway, or me and my deputies, we may be the first responders to a landowner that has illegal aliens on his property. But look, we live together, we hang out together in the same communities. We also share intel and information through what's called our Joint Operations Intelligence Centers, and that's co-located at Border Patrol headquarters, like out at each sector
Hmm.
headquarters here in Texas. And we have weekly teleconferences, and we talk about what's going
Yeah.
on, where we can assist, and things of that nature. But it truly is a
Yeah.
partnership out here in Texas, and Texas continues to make sure we push that forward.
I got about 30 seconds for you to answer this question, but Mexico is increasing its troop levels at the southern border. They've got, well, thousands are there now working with U.S. Custom and Border Patrol. Tell me a little bit about how you work, or do you work with the Mexican officials there? How does that work? Or what's the communication like there? I've got about 30 seconds or less.
Yes, sir. And that could be a very long answer, but we do coordinate and cooperate with them. When I was at the Border Patrol, again, we have what's called international liaison units that coordinates directly with the government of Mexico. We've had successes out here in Terrell County with that. But again, we can't rely on Mexico to protect or patrol our borders. It definitely assists. But again, the U.S. government, Congress has to get together to pass laws that make our borders more safe and secure.
Yeah, Sheriff Cleveland, great, great. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. And we always talk about being on the front lines. You literally are on the front lines there, right at ground zero. Appreciate your time. Thanks again.
Thank you, David. God bless you.